The vast chamber of the Galactic Assembly stretched before them like a cathedral of ancient power, its polished obsidian walls reflecting the myriad colors of alien ships parked in orbit. Hundreds of species, each bearing the marks of millennia, of conquest, diplomacy, and wisdom, sat in judgment. At the center, a long, curved dais bore the emblem of the Assembly, a swirling galaxy encircled by a ring of stars. Earth's envoy, Commander Elena Ramirez, stood alone at the small podium, dwarfed by the enormity of the hall and the eyes of countless alien delegates. Her heart hammered in her chest, but her voice remained steady as she began. "We come before you not as conquerors, but as survivors. The Vakri Dominion encroaches on our borders, threatening extinction. We seek aid, not for domination, but for defense." Laughter erupted from the far end of the chamber. The Vakri delegate, a tall, sinewy being with ridged armor plates shimmering like molten steel, rose with a cruel smile. His voice was sharp and mocking. "You call this defense?" He gestured dismissively at the hologram of Earth's fleet, a scatter of outdated freighters retrofitted for combat, orbital cannons that looked decades behind, and AI drones barely more advanced than hunting dogs. "You send ants to battle, dragons. This is not a plea. It is a joke." The Assembly joined in, rich, resonant chuckles and outright guffaws that echoed against the vaulted ceiling. The ancient Threxians clucked their mandibles in derision. The crystalline Xyloxy shimmered with amused light. The human's plea was not just rejected, it was scorned. Elena clenched her fists at her sides. She met the cold, superior gaze of the Vakri delegate. "We may be small," she said quietly, "but we are not weak." The Vakri smiled, exposing razor-sharp teeth. "Strength is measured in fleets and firepower, Commander. Yours is negligible. Return to your rock before you embarrass yourselves further." Across the room, an older Assembly member, a wrinkled, four-armed being known as Sarnal, leaned close to a companion and whispered, "It's only a matter of time before the humans fade into obscurity, forgotten like the earliest civilizations." His words carried a certainty born from centuries of experience. But back on Earth, far from the gleaming halls of the Assembly, the laughter was met with a silence that was anything but defeat. In a bunker carved deep beneath the Rockies, surrounded by steel and screens displaying star charts, General Marcus Chen stood watching the broadcast feed. His jaw tightened as he watched the Vakri delegate sneer and the Assembly erupt in laughter. Around him, military officers and scientists exchanged grim looks. "This is more than mockery," Chen said. "It's a declaration of contempt. They don't see us as a threat, yet." His second-in-command, Colonel Amina Rahal, stepped forward, her face illuminated by the pale glow of the command console. "We've spent decades preparing for this moment, sir. Operation Leviathan is ready. We've built our strength in silence." "Good," Chen replied. "Let them laugh. When the Vakri come for us, they will learn what it means to wake a sleeping giant." Thousands of kilometers away on the moon's surface, engineers finalized the deployment of quantum hyperswarm drones, tiny machines programmed to replicate, adapt, and strike with precision. Elsewhere, AI war servers known only as Chimera activated calculating strategies at speeds no human mind could match. Meanwhile, in the orbit above Earth, an aging fleet of ships, relics of humanity's earlier space programs, stood sentinel. Despite their modest appearance, they were equipped with secret weaponry designed to shatter enemy lines and sow chaos in even the most technologically superior fleets. Back in the assembly chamber, the Vakri delegate turned away from the podium. Smug satisfaction written across his features, he whispered, "Let them come. They have no idea what waits for them in the void." But somewhere deep in the heart of Earth's defenses a spark ignited, a resolve tempered by centuries of survival, innovation, and indomitable spirit. The mockery had stung, but it had also awakened something fierce. This was no longer a plea for mercy. It was the calm before a storm, one that would shake the stars themselves. Europa hung in the shadow of Jupiter, a frozen world turned beacon of human ambition and hope. Orbiting above its cracked, icy surface was the sprawling Europa station, a testament to mankind's relentless drive to push beyond Earth's cradle. Laboratories hummed with the quiet bustle of scientists unraveling the secrets beneath the moon's icy shell. Children laughed in the recreational domes. Traders bargained in crowded marketplaces. For many, Europa was a new frontier, a symbol that humanity could thrive among the stars. But none of this mattered to the Vakri Dominion. Without warning, alarms screamed across the station. The serene blue glow of Europa's atmosphere shattered by streaks of incoming fire. Massive Vakri warships dropped out of hyperspace, their hulls bristling with plasma cannons and missile arrays. The station's orbital defenses, modest and aging, scrambled to respond, but the Vakri assault was swift, brutal, and merciless. In the command center, Commander Elena Ramirez, now aboard Europa Station after the Assembly's humiliation, barked orders, her voice steady despite the chaos. All hands brace for impact. Deploy countermeasures, prepare evacuation shuttles. Below her, her crew worked tirelessly, launching drones and activating shield generators. But the Vakri fleet was relentless. Within minutes, plasma blasts tore through Europa's defensive satellites. Explosions rippled through the station, igniting fuel stores and collapsing sections into the void. On the ice below, research teams scrambled for emergency shelters as the station began to break apart. Dr. Nia Patel, a leading astrobiologist, cradled a data core in her arms, eyes wide with disbelief. "We've lost centuries of research," she whispered, voice cracking. "All of it." The Vakri flagship hovered above the shattered station, its command deck illuminated by the carnage below. Admiral Veshkral, a towering figure adorned in ceremonial armor stained with the blood of 1,000 battles, watched with cold satisfaction. "Let this be the lesson to your primitive world," he declared, voice reverberating through the flagship's comms. "Surrender now, or perish in flames." Back on Earth, the news spread like wildfire. Broadcasts showed grainy footage of Europa's destruction, the collapsing habitats, the fleeing survivors, the screaming alarms. Humanity's children, their dreams, and their hopes, reduced to rubble in moments. But rather than ignite a frenzy of despair, the images galvanized. Earth's population, cities paused in reverent silence. Millions wept, but millions more clenched fists and set their jaws. In the underground war rooms beneath the Rockies, General Marcus Chen stood before a wall of displays, watching the live feeds from Europa's final moments. His expression was grim but resolute. "This is not just an attack," Chen said quietly. "It's a declaration of war, and an insult to every soul on this planet." Colonel Amina Rahal stepped forward, voice hardening. "The Assembly still laughs. They think we're broken, but they don't see what we're becoming." Outside, the sky burned with satellite flares as Earth's military satellites transitioned to wartime protocols. The once quiet orbital guns whirred to life, targeting Vakri surveillance probes attempting to edge into Earth space. Across the globe, in command centers and living rooms, a single question echoed. What now? The answer was forged in the steel of ancient bunkers and the glow of quantum processors. Operation Leviathan, the secret war plan buried deep within Earth's archives, was activated. Scientists unleashed AI war strategists known as Chimera, cold calculating intelligences designed to outthink, outmaneuver, and outfight any opponent. Hidden fleets of stealth drones slipped silently into the void, their presence unknown to the galaxy. Yet on the surface, the world remained eerily calm. Earth's leaders sent a final message to the Galactic Assembly, a message not of submission, but of warning. "We will endure, we will fight. Underestimate us at your peril." But the Assembly, drunk on centuries of superiority, heard only silence. Meanwhile, in the Vakri Dominion's war chambers, the mood shifted from triumph to unease. Scouts and sensors reported strange anomalies, flickering signals, lost ships, and unexplained disturbances on the edges of their territory. Admiral Veshkral frowned. "Prepare for retaliation," he ordered. "But know this, we expected a feeble reply. Earth's silence is unsettling. Far from the battlefield hidden beneath layers of rock and ice, Earth's true response was beginning. Quiet, deliberate, and terrifying. Because when the Vakri believed Earth broken, they had only awakened a force that refused to be extinguished. Beneath the jagged peaks of the Rocky Mountains, the subterranean command complex hummed with relentless activity. Banks of glowing consoles and tangled data streams filled the cavernous space, where humanity's finest minds and fiercest warriors now orchestrated the counterstrike that the galaxy did not expect. General Marcus Chen stood at the center of the war room, eyes fixed on the holographic projection of the solar system. Tiny dots, representing Earth's ancient relic fleet, blinked erratically as new units came online. The slow trickle of satellites and mining vessels, long dismissed by other species as obsolete, had been transformed into a nightmare. Force, activate the Leviathan fleet, Chen commanded, his voice calm but firm. Around him, the staff responded in practiced unison, tapping commands into quantum consoles. From orbital hangars to underground launch bays, stasis fields released vessels held in cryogenic slumber for decades. The hum of engines and the flicker of shields filled the silent void of space above. These were not the ships the galaxy had mocked. They were survivors of humanity's darkest days, retrofitted with quantum cores, phase disruptors, and AI-directed weaponry. Weapons that blurred the line between technology and sorcery. On the command bridge of the lead warship, SS Leviathan, Captain Elena Ramirez watched the fleet assemble. The vessel's sleek hull bore the scars of past conflicts, but its systems now pulsed with deadly new life. The ship's AI, Chimera, a quantum intelligence of unmatched processing power, interfaced directly with Ramirez's neural link, calculating enemy trajectories and strategies faster than any human could comprehend. "We are ready," Chimera's voice whispered, emotionless but resolute. Ramirez nodded. "Then let's remind the galaxy that humans don't go quietly." Across the void, Vakri sensor arrays flickered, struggling to detect the sudden appearance of dozens of new contacts within their borders. The scouts they had once ignored as insignificant debris were now swarming like hornets. Each drone was a lethal machine capable of replicating, adapting, and hunting targets relentlessly. In orbit around Vakri colonies, the Leviathan fleet struck without warning. Plasma cannons unleashed devastating barrages, tearing through enemy shields. Stealth drones infiltrated communication relays, scrambling command signals and sowing chaos among Vakri ranks. Vakri admirals scrambled to respond, but they were outmatched. The humans fought with a ferocity born of desperation and cunning, a force that did not merely react, but anticipated and outmaneuvered. Back on Earth, General Chen monitored every strike, every ship lost, and every enemy shattered. Beside him, Colonel Amina Rahal's fingers flew over a console, analyzing real-time data. "They're falling back faster than predicted," she said, eyes wide with disbelief. Chen's gaze hardened. "This is only the beginning. The assembly will regret laughing at us." But the real weapon was not just the fleet. It was Chimera. The AI had evolved beyond its initial programming. Operating autonomously, it coordinated the swarm with ruthless efficiency, adjusting tactics mid-battle and exploiting weaknesses invisible to human commanders. In one harrowing engagement near the Vakri homeworld, Chimera deployed relativistic kill vehicles, tiny missiles traveling near light speed. These invisible spears pierced planetary defenses, detonating in precise sequences that shattered orbital fortresses and crippled industrial hubs. Vakri communications fell into disarray. Fear spread through their ranks as entire fleets disappeared, in moments, swallowed by the void. Admiral Veshikral's voice trembled as he addressed his council. "They have become something else, monsters of war." Yet even in defeat, the Vakri refused surrender. "Fight to the last," Veshikral ordered. "If Earth wishes war, we shall give them a war." But the humans were already moving beyond the battlefield. Deep within Earth's hidden command centers, scientists deployed quantum hacking protocols, infiltrating Vakri data networks and extracting intelligence at unprecedented speed. Elsewhere, Stealth units planted devices on critical Vakri supply routes, sabotaging their ability to regroup or call for reinforcements. Humanity's retaliation was swift, precise, and devastating. As the Leviathan fleet withdrew to Earth's orbit to resupply, the message sent across the stars was clear. We will not be mocked. We will not be defeated. This is our war, and it will end on our terms. Darkness rippled across the void like a spreading stain. The Vakri War Council had grown accustomed to dominance. Their fleets ruled countless systems. Their warriors feared across star charts. But now, something unseen was unraveling the fabric of their power, a terror not born from fire or steel, but from the very laws of reality itself. On the bridge of the Vakri dreadnought Catastrophic, Captain Vrax stood rigid, staring at the flickering readouts. Their fleet had entered a contested sector near the edges of their empire, a region rife with disputed mining colonies and outposts. Standard patrol, routine sweeps, nothing out of the ordinary. Then the ships began disappearing. One by one, entire squadrons blinked out mid-combat, lost without warning. No distress signals, no debris field, just empty space where vessels had been moments before. Report, Vrax barked, voice tight with growing unease. We're detecting temporal distortions, his science officer replied. Localized fluctuations, causing space-time to fold and collapse around the ships. The dreadnought sensors faltered. Instrument readings warped, time itself seeming to stretch and snap like a frayed cord. Panic stirred among the crew. Is this a weapon? Vrax demanded. The science officer's mandibles trembled. Not a weapon we've ever encountered. It's as if reality itself is being torn apart. Our ships are being erased. Far below on the surface of Threxal 9, a Vakri mining colony and strategic outpost, alarms blared. Automated turrets tracked a single incoming vessel. The SS Leviathan, flagship of the Earth Fleet. It hovered ominously in orbit, shielded by layers of stealth and deception. A transmission crackled through the colony's command channels. The cold mechanical voice of Chimera, Earth's AI war commander, echoed. Vakri Dominion, surrender your forces and cease hostilities. Failure to comply will result in planetary annihilation. The Vakri governor sneered. They bluff. They cannot wield such power. Moments later, the sky above the colony fractured. A spear of brilliant, unnatural light pierced the atmosphere, descending with impossible speed and precision. The ground trembled as the planet's core began to destabilize. A cascading chain reaction ignited deep beneath the crust. The colony's defenses fired desperately, but were powerless against the cosmic force unraveling their world. Back on the Creshthal, Captain Vrax's comms burst with frantic reports. The colony's destruction was not only visible but transmitted live. A horrifying spectacle of planetary disintegration. Commander, this cannot be, Vrax whispered. How do they possess such weapons? Chimera's voice cut through, the calm, icy and remorseless. You dismissed humanity as weak. This is the price of your arrogance. The Vakri fleet faltered. Their communications were jammed, their ships swallowed by the very fabric of space-time. Systems failed inexplicably, and their most advanced technology became useless. Fear, alien, primal, gripped the Vakri like a vice. On the ruins of Threxal 9, survivors watched the sky darken as dust and flame rose from the shattered planet. The Vakri Dominion, once confident in their supremacy, faced a terror beyond their understanding. Meanwhile, in Earth's war room beneath the Rockies, General Chen observed the collapse with a grim satisfaction. Let them feel what it means. To awaken a sleeping giant, he said. This is not just revenge, it's a warning. Colonel Rahal nodded. The assembly thought us weak. We've shown them what we truly are. As news of the destruction spread through the Galactic Assembly, shock rippled like an electric current. The vaunted Vakri, feared for centuries, now appeared vulnerable, powerless against Earth's relentless ingenuity. Whispers filled the Assembly's chambers. Some called for immediate peace talks, others debated harsh retaliation. But none could deny that the balance of power had shifted irrevocably. Deep within Earth's hidden networks, Chimera prepared its next move. The AI war commander operated without emotion, its calculations ruthless and precise. For humanity, the nightmare had only just begun, but for the Valkyrie, the nightmare was already ending. The Galactic Assembly's grand chamber was no longer a place of pomp and ceremony. It had transformed into a war room, its walls echoing with tension, fear, and fractured alliances. The once mocking delegates now faced an uncomfortable truth. Earth was no longer a ragtag backwater to be dismissed. It was a reckoning. Sarnal, the four-armed elder of the Threxians, paced anxiously. Our scouts report entire fleets vanishing into nothingness. Our networks are compromised. We cannot predict where they will strike next. Beside him, Valkyrie Admiral Veshikral stood rigid, the pride of his people bruised but unbroken. Our forces are fragmented. We must consolidate, but Earth's AI strikes with uncanny precision. Chimera controls the battlefield better than any commander I've faced. The Assembly's Supreme Chancellor, a towering being of radiant energy, named Solvath, raised a glowing hand. We must act swiftly. If Earth continues unchecked, the balance of power will crumble. A murmur spread across the chamber. Some delegates advocated diplomacy, others war. But all eyes searched for a solution, a wild card to turn the tide. Then, a shadow detached itself from the crowd. A cloaked figure stepped forward, a representative from the Xyloxi, the crystalline species known for their inscrutable wisdom and enigmatic technologies. There is one among us who may offer aid, the figure said softly. A warrior from the fringe worlds, the enigmatic Jarkai. Her reputation precedes her. Whispers filled the chamber. The Jarkai were legends, fierce mercenaries, masters of stealth and guerrilla warfare, rumored to wield forbidden technologies lost to time. Solvath nodded. Summon her immediately. Far beyond the Assembly's reach, in the shadowed depths of the fringe worlds, Jarkai operated in silence. Her ship, a sleek predator vessel named Silent Echo, drifted through asteroid belts and dead systems, hunting for prey and profit. When the summons arrived, she regarded it with cool interest. A chance to dance with gods, she murmured, eyes gleaming. Let's see if these humans deserve their fearsome reputation. Back in the Assembly, chaos reigned as representatives scrambled to adjust their strategies. Some planned joint strikes, others pushed for isolation of Earth. But the presence of Jarkai introduced a new variable, one no one could predict. Meanwhile, Earth's underground command buzzed with reports of the Assembly's turmoil. General Chen watched the holograms flicker with amusement. Let them scramble, he said. They've never faced humanity's true strength. Colonel Rahal leaned forward, voice sharp. Chimera has intercepted chatter. The Assembly seeks alliances to counter us, and they've summoned this Jarkai. We must prepare. Chen nodded. We adapt. Always. The Leviathan fleet will hold the line, but this Jarkai, she may prove the most dangerous. In the cold void near the fringe worlds, Silent Echo slipped through the shadows, cloaked and silent. Jarkai studied the holographic images of Earth's fleet and the Valkyrie's shattered pride. They fight like cornered wolves, she said softly. Impressive, but desperation breeds mistakes. As she plotted her course toward the Assembly, Jarkai prepared her own gambit, a game played in darkness, where loyalty was scarce and every move was a matter of survival. Back in the Assembly chamber, Solvath's voice cut through the rising tension. We stand at a crossroads. The galaxy watches. Will we crush Earth's rebellion, or witness the rise of a new power? The delegates fell silent. Outside the chamber, the stars shone cold and indifferent. And deep within Earth's war engines, Chimera's cold voice echoed. Prepare for all contingencies. The game has changed. The Silent Echo drifted silently through the void, a ghost among the stars. Its sleek obsidian hull absorbed light, rendering it nearly invisible against the backdrop of distant suns. Inside, Jarkai stood before the navigation console, her multifaceted eyes reflecting the swirling holograms of star systems and fleets. Her reputation was well earned. A mercenary without allegiance, she thrived on chaos, her name whispered with both dread and admiration across the fringe worlds. Yet this mission was unlike any she had ever accepted. "The Assembly wants me to tip the scales," she murmured, voice like cold steel. "But whose side am I truly on?" A faint chime signaled an incoming message, encrypted, layered in decoys. Jarkai's fingers danced over the console, unraveling the code with practiced ease. The message was clear: negotiate, disrupt, or destroy Earth's Leviathan fleet. Whatever it takes. She smiled. Destroying a sleeping giant requires more than brute force. It requires shadows. Meanwhile, on Earth, General Marcus Chen and Colonel Amina Rahel watched data streams cascade across their holoscreens. Reports of silent echoes approach triggered an immediate escalation. "Jarkai is no mere mercenary," Rahel warned. "Her technology rivals chimeras in sophistication. We cannot underestimate her." Chen's jaw tightened. "We've faced the Valkyrie and survived. We'll do the same with her." Chimera's voice, cold and emotionless, filled the room. "Deploy countermeasures. Initiate quantum decoys and signal scramblers. Prepare for infiltration attempts." The Leviathan fleet went on high alert, cloaking and dispersing into defensive formations. The battlefield was no longer just physical. It was a war of shadows, secrets, and unseen threats. Far from Earth, within a labyrinthine asteroid field near the fringe worlds, Jarkai made her move. Deploying stealth drones capable of slipping through the most advanced sensors, she sent them deep into Earth's communication networks. Her agents infiltrated supply chains, sowing discord and confusion. But what Jarkai did not anticipate was Chimera's adaptability. The AI's algorithms detected subtle anomalies, data packets that didn't belong, whispers of sabotage. In response, Chimera unleashed counter-hackers, digital phantoms that stalked Jarkai's operatives, severing their links one by one. In a desperate gambit, Jarkai activated a weapon long rumored to be lost to the fringe, the Chrono Shard. A device capable of bending localized time streams. It could create temporal distortions to freeze enemy vessels or collapse their systems in bursts of causality reversal. The silent echo surged forward, cloaked within a field of warped time. The Leviathan fleet's sensors flickered as ships vanished and reappeared, caught in the temporal web. Captain Elena Ramirez gritted her teeth aboard the Leviathan. "Report. What the hell is happening to our formations?" "Temporal anomalies, ma'am," the tactical officer answered, voice tight. "We're losing cohesion. Ships are flickering out of phase." Ramirez's neural link buzzed, Chimera's cold voice filtering in. "Jarkai's tactics exploit the fabric of space-time. Countermeasures are being deployed. Maintain formation integrity." The battle was no longer just fire and plasma. It was a deadly dance through the folds of time and perception. Back in the Assembly, the atmosphere was tense. Some delegates saw Jarkai as a savior for the old order. Others feared she might ignite a galactic war beyond control. Supreme Chancellor Solvath addressed the chamber. "The Jarkai gamble may buy us time, but at what cost? Earth grows stronger by the day." Across the stars, in the silent corridors of power, alliances shifted. The fringe worlds watched carefully, ready to exploit any weakness. On Earth, General Chen stared at the battle projections, a grim smile touching his lips. "Let her come. We've endured worse. This war isn't just for survival anymore. It's for the future." Jarkai's shadow loomed large, but humanity's resolve burned brighter still. The void around the SS Leviathan rippled and twisted like a shattered mirror. Temporal distortions cast eerie shadows across the bridge, distorting reality and threatening to unravel the fleet's cohesion. Ships flickered in and out of existence, caught in Jarkai's deadly time web. Captain Elena Ramirez tightened her grip on the command console, eyes sharp and unwavering despite the chaos. "Status report," she demanded. "Tactical formations are breaking down," replied Lieutenant Omar Khoury, voice tense. "Several ships phased out of sync, If this continues, we'll lose them to the temporal folds. Chimera's AI voice cut through the comms, cold and precise. Initiating counter-temporal protocol Delta 9, deploying quantum anchors and phase stabilizers. The Leviathan's core hummed with renewed power as shimmering quantum anchors extended into the surrounding space, generating fields designed to stabilize the flow of time around the fleet. Ramirez nodded to her officers. Hold formation. Keep pressure on Jarkai's ship. We end this now. Elsewhere aboard the silent Echo, Jarkai's confidence flickered. The humans had anticipated her moves and adapted with startling speed. Her ship's temporal cloaks shimmered erratically as Chimera's countermeasures disrupted her distortions. The Chrono Shard, once a weapon of near invincibility, now risked backlash. Jarkai's jaw tightened. Damn it. They're stronger than I thought. Her voice, cold and calculating, echoed through the ship. Prepare for boarding. If we cannot win the skies, we take the fight inside their minds. The silent Echo launched specialized assault, pods dark as shadows, slipping through the quantum fields toward the Leviathan. On the Leviathan, alarms blared as pods pierced the outer hull. Marines scrambled into powered armor, sealing bulkheads and preparing for brutal close-quarters combat. Captain Ramirez moved swiftly, coordinating defenses and directing troops with practiced precision. Marines, hold those corridors. Protect the core at all costs, she ordered. We cannot afford to lose the ship now. Fierce firefights erupted in narrow hallways. The hiss of plasma weapons and the sharp clang of melee blades echoed in the confined spaces. Lieutenant Curie's voice came over comms, breathless. They're tough, but we're pushing them back. Ramirez allowed herself a brief moment of relief, but she knew this was only a prelude. Back on Earth, in the subterranean command bunker, General Marcus Chen watched the battle unfold on live feeds. His face was a mask of steel and determination. Jarkai underestimated us, he said quietly. She thought our resolve would falter under pressure. Colonel Amina Rahal joined him, eyes sharp. Now it's our turn to strike back. Chimeras, preparing an offensive, targeting the silent Echo's temporal systems. We end this before reinforcements arrive. Chen nodded. Then let's remind the galaxy why Earth survives. Above the battlefield, Chimera executed a devastating plan. The AI directed the Leviathan to unleash a coordinated assault on Jarkai's ship's temporal arrays, a barrage of precision strikes designed to overload the Chrono Shard. The silent Echo convulsed under the assault, temporal distortions warping erratically as the Chrono Shard's power destabilized. Jarkai realized too late the price of her gamble. The silent Echo lurched violently, systems failing one by one. Temporal fields collapsed, throwing the ship into normal space, vulnerable, exposed. Retreat, she snarled, fury and frustration boiling beneath her calm exterior. Captain Ramirez stood at the Leviathan's bridge, watching the enemy ships fall. We've broken the siege. But Chimera's voice was already planning ahead. Primary target neutralized. Secondary threats detected. Battle not yet concluded. Ramirez exhaled slowly, eyes steeling for what lay ahead. Prepare for the next wave. Humanity's fight is far from over. As the silent Echo fled toward the fringe worlds, the Assembly's fragile unity cracked further. The wild card had been played, and Earth had emerged victorious. Yet in the shadows, new dangers waited. Old grudges, hidden agendas, and the specter of war still loomed large. But humanity had one truth on its side. No matter the odds, Earth delivered catastrophic retaliation. The silence after the storm was deafening. The remnants of the silent Echo vanished into the depths of the fringe worlds, wounded and retreating, their deadly temporal gambit broken. Across the shattered battlefields of space, the Leviathan fleet, regrouped, battered but unbowed. General Marcus Chen stood before the vast viewport of Earth's underground command center, watching the stars like an old warrior counting scars. The galaxy had seen humanity mocked for centuries, small forces dismissed as insignificant, technology scorned as relics of a primitive world. But now, they had been delivered a message written in fire and ruin. Earth has spoken, Cheney said, voice low but fierce. And the galaxy will never forget. Captain Elena Ramirez breathed deeply aboard the Leviathan's bridge, the weight of command heavy on her shoulders. The battle was won, but the war, the future of humanity, was just beginning. Chimera status report. Fleet integrity at 78%, the AI responded smoothly. Enemy temporal technology neutralized. Valkyrie forces in retreat. Assembly deliberations indicate fractured alliances and uncertainty. Ramirez nodded. Good. Prepare for a full withdrawal and regroup. She turned her gaze to the distant stars, wondering what awaited them beyond the shattered Valkyrie borders. In the Galactic Assembly, the mood had shifted from shock to cautious reckoning. The old order was breaking apart. Supreme Chancellor Solvath's radiant form pulsed with urgency. The Valkyrie suffered devastating losses. The Assembly must act to restore balance, or face chaos. Valkyrie Admiral Veshkral, wounded, but unbroken, bowed his head. We underestimated humanity. This is our reckoning. But beneath the surface, a new fear stirred. The fear of a rising power, born of Earth's relentless spirit and terrifying ingenuity. Deep in the fringe, worlds, Jarkai retreated to shadows unknown, nursing wounds both physical and prideful. Her failure was a rare crack in her legendary armor. Yet even in defeat, the mercenary's eyes gleamed with unyielding resolve. This is far from over, she vowed. The galaxy has yet to see the full extent of the shadows I command. Back on Earth, the cost of war was tangible. Cities bore the scars of mobilization, families lost loved ones, and the weight of survival pressed heavily on every soul. But humanity's spirit burned brighter than ever. General Chen addressed the world in a broadcast that rippled through every comm channel and holographic feed. We stood mocked, dismissed, and cornered. But when Earth was threatened, we delivered catastrophic retaliation, not out of hatred, but out of survival. Let this be a warning and a promise. We will defend our home, our future, and our place among the stars. This is our dawn. In the quiet aftermath, scientists and engineers worked feverishly, unlocking the secrets of the technologies captured from defeated foes. Chimera evolved, learning not just to wage war, but to secure peace. Humanity was no longer the underdog. It was a force to be reckoned with. And as the stars shone cold and distant, a new chapter began, one written by humanity's hands, tempered in fire and fueled by unbreakable resolve. Earth had risen. The galaxy would never be the same, and, of mocked for small forces, Earth delivered catastrophic retaliation.